Peace, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're back. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, you were interested, so let's get at it. If you've watched any movies in the last, last decade, you've probably seen a situation where a character in a movie almost steals the entire show. Okay, like for example, the Minions characters. Those characters weren't necessarily meant to become what they are, but they're like a phenomenon now. Another great example would be Mario from Donkey Kong. Remember, Donkey Kong was the main character in that video game, but Mario somehow or another became the most popular, and you very rarely hear about Donkey Kong. He still shows up in the video games, but nothing like that. It's happened in comic books, it's happened in movies, it's all the time. It's a phenomenon where a secondary character or a secondary storyline almost takes over the main story and the main character. That's what we have here with this Fani Willis story. At this point in the game, I don't even care that they were trying to indict Trump. They wanted to, it doesn't matter. The story of Fani Willis, Nathan Wade is so crazy. It doesn't even matter. It's like a scripted soap opera. What was it? As the World Turns, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, all those things that your grandma used to watch when you was sick, when you was in third grade and you had to stay at Big Mama's house. But now we're watching unscripted soap opera. That's the thing. Like, this is reality. This is not a soap opera. This was not written by a team of writers to draw you into this drama. This is literally these people's lives. So today, somebody, shout out to Road Dog in the comment section, sent me the link to the interview of Joycelyn Wade's attorney. Now, I want to look at this because it adds so much light. It adds so much, I think they call it color. They add so much color to this whole drama, this whole foolishness because we've heard from Nathan, we've heard from Fani, we heard from Terrence, we've heard from various and sundry lawyers around it. But now a lot of people have asked, like, well, what about Lady Wade? What about her? Whatever happened to Joycelyn Wade? And her story is kind of sad when you think about it, because basically Nathan was trying to get an upgrade. He figured, you know what, it's time for me to move on and upgrade my wife. Crazy, right? So today we're going to look at an interview that local news station did in January. How did this fly under the radar? How did we not see this? It's crazy. And our passage for today's review is Proverbs 5:22. The iniquities of a wicked man entrap him. The cords of his sin entangle him. I just want you to think about that. Keep that in your mind as we're listening to this. And as you are hearing various and sundry things about this case, maybe even going back, looking at some of the other things that we've talked about. This man's sin has entrapped him. And please understand, it uses the word man, but that could apply for woman as well. So this same thing applies to Fani and Terrence Bradley. And please understand, Joycelyn is a sinner, just like you and I are sinners. So I'm not saying that she's perfect and has no flaws or anything of that nature, but just that this right here is so wild. I was watching, I was like, you got to be kidding me, because it answers a lot of the questions that we've probably had and you might have had in the comments or in the live chats about, like, where was Joycelyn when all this was popping off? So anyway, and I'm going to go ahead and move that out the way. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I promise you, we won't be doing this all the time, but my goodness, in the morning, sometimes a good little morning wake me up is good. Today's editing day at Podium Studio, so I'll just be doing some edits. I'll probably do them here at the house, or I might go to the studio, one or the other. So I figured I would real quick jump in and just share this with you all, because it was such an interesting story. And a lot of you have asked, like, I've seen the comments, like, where's his wife? What does she have to say? I wonder what her wife says. Now, granted, this is the attorney. I have no reason to believe that this woman is going to lie to us, but my goodness, in the morning, she sheds a lot of good light on this case and helps make a lot of it make sense, especially when you compare it to what Nathan said, compared to what Fani said, or what Ashley brought in and talked about, and what Terrence said. When you bring all that stuff together, you get a better picture. And again, I think this is we're watching unscripted soap operas. That's the part that just cracks me up. I'm like, yo, this is worse than anything I saw when I was a kid with daytime soaps. Any reality show, this is actually, I don't know about that. Most reality shows, this is worse than any reality show. So let me get my sound effects in here. People don't like my sound effects. I got to tell them.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Let's go ahead and let's get at it, people. Let's go.
Where does the divorce case between Joycelyn?
Oh yeah, and the link for this video is down in the description as well. And shout out to 11 Alive News here in Atlanta. Let's go.
Wade and Nathan Wade stand as of today?
As of today, we have a settlement, a consent order incorporating a settlement as to temporary alimony and temporary attorney's fees.
To somebody who's not an attorney, what does that mean?
So it's, in any case, it's not unusual for us to set up temporary financial arrangements in a case. What's unusual about this situation is that it's been over 2 years, and we're just now establishing a temporary financial arrangement, temporary support for my client who is not the earning spouse.
There's a couple things I know is going to show up in the chat in a minute. I have no idea what that brooch is. I hope and pray it's not some kind of secret society pin or something like that. That thing is, I have no idea what's going on with that giant scorpion brooch. I have no idea what that is. But also notice she says that their divorce proceedings have been going on for 2 years. He hired, allegedly, Nathan Wade hired Terrence Bradley to be his divorce attorney 7 years ago. I don't, the math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's what I would think.
So, and that's because of how this case has gone. But it's a normal part of the process. What's unusual is that it's taken this long.
You're a divorce attorney. How long have you worked in family law, in divorce law?
I've been in family law since 2003.
Have you ever handled a case quite like this one?
No. No. Well, as far as the facts go of the case, there's not a lot unusual about it. The circumstances surrounding the case, that's what makes it unusual.
Elaborate on that a little bit for me.
Well, you know, when we started this case, when Joyce Wade hired me, we had no idea about any of the circumstances surrounding the case. We certainly had no idea that Nathan Wade had accepted a position as a special prosecutor.
That's crazy. His wife, okay, so that adds complexity. Now we understand that they were not living in the same house. So that does make more sense for him doing his fanny calls down in Hapeville. But she didn't know that he was a special prosecutor. And listen to how she explains what they did know about his money. And this makes sense for why Nathan didn't want to be hired on to Fulton County. Because remember, Ashley said yesterday, because he was working as a contractor with Fulton County, he could keep his private practice. Watch what she says about his private practice.
So from my perspective, I was approaching it like any other divorce case. I had a wife who'd been married for almost 25 years to a husband, a apparently successful attorney. So we were going to undergo discovery and all the things we normally do. And then as we started to peel back the onion and questions weren't answered and things didn't make sense, that's when it turned into something else.
You mentioned that when you came onto the case, it was your understanding that you didn't know that Mr. Wade was working as a special prosecutor.
Correct.
It's crazy.
There have been people who've caught that. You mentioned it in some filings seeking additional discovery materials over the more than 2 years now that this case has been proceeding. And there have been folks who've wondered how that could be. So I just want to put it to you, why didn't you know that Mr. Wade was a special prosecutor until at least somewhat fairly far along in the process?
Well, I can tell you that to the extent that it was public knowledge, it wasn't in any public circle that I was a part of or that Joyce was a part of. And we did not actually learn that he was the special prosecutor until around the time that the indictments came out.
And that lines up with what Ashley said yesterday about how basically Fani just kind of backdoored Nathan into that position, into that role. And because they didn't go through the proper steps, because if they had gone through the proper steps, people would have known about it, AKA they would have applied, they would have had a hearing, they would have done all those kind of things to justify the payment of this man. Fani didn't do that. And so she corroborates a lot of what we heard, like, how do people not know this man had this job?
And in discovery, we ask about sources of income with specificity, and the answer that we received repeatedly was Nathan J. Wade, PC. So we didn't have any information, objective information, that would tell us anything about that until it became a source of public information, and that's when we started down the hole of trying to get information with regard to his income. Those were the things that weren't making sense. He didn't seem to have very much in the way of income, but he seemed to have a lot of money at his disposal. And when we learned this, that's when we started doing subpoenas to Fulton County and open records requests to figure out what on earth is going on.
You mentioned something that I want to kind of circle back on, the open records requests and the subpoena. I think the divorce case really got dragged into the national spotlight when you subpoenaed Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis to sit for a deposition in this case. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that. And
okay, so before we get too far, because this is the case that Fani quashed a subpoena, which was super, super wild. But notice here, she says, hey, this guy had a whole bunch of extra money. And they were like, wait, where's this money coming from? These people are wild. This has got to be one of the best. This has to be one of the best soap operas in the land. I don't think there's a better one. Hopefully, we don't need to know a better one, but this has got to be the best soap opera ever, hands down. All right, continue, Jason. Continue.
Let's start here. D.A. Willis tried to quash that subpoena. There was a hearing. The judge stayed the subpoena at the time. Before that hearing, D.A. Willis filed a motion in response trying to quash the subpoena, and she wrote that your client was using the legal process to harass and embarrass the district attorney, and I'm quoting here, she said in her filing that doing so was obstructing and interfering with an ongoing criminal prosecution. What did you make of that when you read it in her filing?
I was astounded that she would make that type of assertion against an individual, another member of the bar. I understand intellectually what she was trying to do, but
What was she trying to do?
I don't take too kindly to people threatening my clients or myself, and that's what it felt like to me. It went too far.
You took it as a threat of criminal prosecution.
Correct. That if we proceeded with this deposition, that we would be prosecuted criminally for it. That's how I took it.
Yo.
Did you?
Please remember, Ashley pointed out that there was abuse of power, that she felt like there was abuse of the office of the DA. You're threatening a spouse who wants a deposition about her husband, who at this moment, I don't know, it wasn't clear in my mind. Did she know that they were having an affair? You know what? I want to back that up a little bit because I don't think I picked up whether or not this attorney, I'm just going to call her Scorpion Lady, the Scorpion Queen. I don't know if the Scorpion Queen knew. I didn't get that part. Let's pick that up again, Jason.
Take too kindly to people threatening my clients.
Back up a few
Of
seconds.
that when you read it in her filing.
Another second.
There was a hearing. The judge stayed the subpoena at the time. Before that hearing, D.A. Willis filed a motion in response trying to quash the subpoena, and she wrote that your client was using the legal process to harass and embarrass the district attorney, and I'm quoting here, she said in her filing that doing so was obstructing and interfering with an ongoing criminal prosecution. What did you make of that when you read it in her filing?
Shout out. Thank you, Call Obsidian, for the super chat early in the morning. Thank you so very much. Thanks for this, dear woke Christian. It has been an insane story. Atlanta must be stopped for sure, but these vids can keep coming out. Shout out from Tennessee. Grace and peace. Thank you, friend. Appreciate you. Yeah, I don't see that. Okay, so I'm not clear if Fannie knew, I'm sorry, if Joycelyn Wade knew that Fannie was Nathan Wade's secret lover. Insert Atlantic Star up in here. I don't know if I'm not clear if she knew that. And somebody else said no. So I don't know. I don't think that was clear. So they're just literally just asking. I'm sure maybe they had a hint. I can't imagine they didn't have at least a hint. But yeah, this is wild. Okay.
I was astounded that she would make that type of assertion against an individual, another member of the bar. I understand intellectually what she was trying to do, but I don't take too kindly to people threatening my clients or myself, and that's what it felt like to me.
Wow.
It went too far.
You took it as a threat of criminal prosecution.
Correct. That if we proceeded with this deposition, that we would be prosecuted criminally for it. That's how I took it.
Did you raised that concern in a response filing of your own? Did you ever hear a response from DA Willis about that? Let's talk about the subpoena specifically. You wrote in a motion, and this is where we have to peel back a little bit from the legalese as best we can, although, we'll hash it all out. But we want to be sort of as clear about all of this as we can, because there's a lot of motions
normal
and
people.
counter
Help us
motions.
out.
Oh, yes.
And that's the nature of these things. But you wrote in one of your motions in support of the subpoena to get DA Willis to sit for that deposition. You wrote that you wanted to depose her to gather information about the nature of the relationship between DA Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. And in that filing, you wrote that it was your belief that the two of them were engaged in a romantic relationship.
Correct.
Okay, so
what kind of proof do you have to support the notion that Mr.
Okay, so she was aware. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Here we go.
Wade and DA Willis were engaged in a romantic relationship?
So let me say one thing about the subpoena. When we first issued the subpoena, we didn't list the reason for the deposition, and we did that on purpose. It was only after her filing that when she demanded to know why we were going to ask her questions, that we reissued the subpoena with that information on it. I just think that, I just want...
Shout out to Mr. Told You. I love this. This case, through the mysterious power of the algorithm, has brought many great content creators my way. Salute and subscribe. I love it. Thanks so much, my friend. Hey, yo, I should do a video explaining how this case has worked in the algorithm. I might do that. Maybe I'll do that this weekend and just kind of explain it, because it's interesting. Since so many people are watching it and talking about it, if you just go to your homepage right now, your YouTube homepage, just log in to YouTube homepage, I guarantee you probably see 5 stories about Fani Willis, the attorneys, the hearings, whatever, because everybody's talking about it. It literally is, I mean, it's the O.J. Simpson story of this day and age. It's the where were you when the towers got attacked type of story. It's literally that big in the YouTube space. It's probably one of the largest stories in some time, where literally so many people are involved in it. And it's crazy. So I'm not surprised. And so I appreciate you checking us out. Wow, Lazy, thank you for gifting out a membership. By the way, I do have YouTube memberships are turned on. If you'd like to join and be a member of YouTube, the Dear Woke Christian channel memberships, they're available on the channel as well. I have memberships on my Buy Me a Coffee as well as my memberships on YouTube. And I'll explain that. What we'll be doing is some private live streams. We'll be doing some interviews and such like that, private Q&As, asking me a lot of things. But then also they get dibs on all of my videos before they go out when I do my pre-recorded videos, as well as has access to my Discord where we do things like talk about thumbnails and videos that are going to be coming up and all that kind of good stuff. So check it out. The memberships are down there. Thank you so much, Lacey Ann, for supporting the channel like that. And welcome to all new members. All right, let's get this thing going. Let's go.
Out there. But we received documents. Like I said, I did the, sorry, I'm jumping around. I did the open records request. This was late fall. And once I received those documents, I issued a formal subpoena for evidentiary reasons. And I received those in November. It was shortly, as soon as I received those, we filed a motion for a temporary hearing because I had information about money. I did not have information about a relationship at that point. And it wasn't until we received a handful of documents from Nathan Wade on the Friday before Christmas, December 22nd, that I had information that indicated with a reasonable degree of certainty that there was definitely more than a boss-employee relationship between the two of them.
When you say information.
So, okay, so she's saying that really around Christmas time last year, 2023, is when it really came to a head that they, Nathan and Fani were in a relationship. That is crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay.
Help me understand what that is. Because the natural question of anybody who watches this is going to be, okay, but what was it? So you say you obtained information. What information did you obtain? What proof did that show to you that there was a relationship between D.A. Willis and Mr. Wade?
I received documents that indicated, as you've seen, that they have traveled together, ostensibly not for business purposes. I can't think of a business reason for them to have gone to Aruba or to Napa Valley.
Come on, man. All right, come on. Down in the chat, give me some business reasons why you need to go to Aruba. Come on, drop them in here. I know some. I got to check I got a reason why I need to go to Aruba. Give me some reasons why you would need to go to Aruba. Come on. Business reasons. I'm sorry, business reasons why you need to go to Aruba. I like how you think. He said, I can't wait for this movie. You know that movie is going to be insane. The Fani Willis movie is going to be bananas. Yeah, like, okay, see, I need to go to Aruba to check on a film location because I'm going to be doing a vlog. So that's a good reason to go to Aruba, right? Right? Well, okay, that's one as well. They were consulting a legal system. It's an exchange program. Oh, well, there you go. Offshore accounts. See, come on, Scorpion Queen. There's good reason to go to Aruba. There's work reasons to go to Aruba. Clearly, Scorpion Queen. Come on. To do some research on beach sand. See, Queen Fab understands. Scorpion Queen, listen to Queen Fab. That's what's going on. You all are terrible. Let's go.
We've issued subpoenas as a result of those documents that we received from Mr. Wade that have gone further.
When you say gone further, the latest that I've seen in the public record so far are the exhibits attached to your response to the emergency motion seeking to quash the subpoena by D.A. Willis. There were purported credit card statements in there that showed some flights booked for both Mr. Wade and D.A. Willis. You say that you've obtained new information that goes further. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Break it down. Scorpion Queen cannot.
I don't know if I should at this point. Let me answer it this way and tell me what. We have issued subpoenas based on specific items contained in those documents, and we've received information back that gives more detail with regards to what we learned in those credit card statements.
What does that mean?
Can I actually show you and maybe
That didn't even make sense. I think it's fair to say, as I gave you an example in the beginning, a man's sins will entrap him. And hear me. I hate divorce. So I'm not saying that, I'm not justifying the divorce, but if Nathan had just went ahead and finished up the divorce with, he's got to be kicking himself, because if he had divorced his wife before all of this got started, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Well, no, probably would, because if he was in a relationship with Fani, but still, we wouldn't be having this conversation about no, I don't know. I don't know if we would have found it out, because all of this really, his ex-wife, which is just as a strange wife at the current moment, really precipitated all of this discussion. So again, like if the man had just gone ahead and divorced his wife and did whatever he was going to do, remember, he secured Terrence Bradley almost 7 years ago in like 2015, 2016. Just go ahead and be done with it. He wasn't making a whole lot of money back then anyway. So really, he would have been off better if he had gone ahead and divorced her back and then rather than now, because now it's just a boondoggle. And he's going to probably end up losing all of his bread. But and he's going to probably end up losing his license.
You can help me understand the credit card statements better. I have them here. And sometimes I'm a visual learner sometimes.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I noticed is that the credit card statements themselves show flights to San Francisco and Miami, booked
Right.
On behalf of passengers named Nathan J. Wade and
Wow.
Fani Willis.
Wow.
But you, in your filing and in our conversation here, have also mentioned trips to Aruba and other places. Can you point to where in these credit card statements those pieces of evidence come up?
I don't think that the Aruba trip is actually in these credit card statements. It was a part of the cruise that they went on, the Royal Caribbean cruise.
Shout out to Royal
that's
Caribbean.
In here. They flew in and out of Miami, and from Miami they flew to Aruba.
Okay. And it's your belief that that was a romantic getaway?
Yes.
Hold on. They have Nathan's credit card statements, and the Aruba trip is not on the credit card statements. Does everybody see where I'm going with this? Why are they? Wait, I got backed it up a little bit. I'm going to back it up again, just a few seconds. The Aruba trip is not on the credit card statements. Wait, why is the Aruba trip not on the credit card statements? Oh, man.
Understand the credit card statements better. I have them here. And sometimes I'm a visual learner sometimes.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I noticed is that the credit card statements themselves show flights to San Francisco and Miami, booked
Right.
on behalf of passengers named Nathan J. Wade and Fani Willis. But you, in your filing and in our conversation here, have also mentioned trips to Aruba and other places. Can you point to where in these credit card statements those pieces of evidence come up?
I don't think that the Aruba trip is actually in these credit card statements. It was a part of the cruise that they went on, the Royal Caribbean cruise that's in here. They flew in and out of Miami, and from Miami they flew to Aruba.
Okay. And it's your final disposition.
Oh, sorry.
Correct.
Is she satisfied?
Wait, sorry about that.
Say in the last few weeks.
How has
I think
this case...
I'm sorry, hit the button.
Property. So as soon as I received
Rookie.
on the 8th, which I understand.
case in Fulton County.
Rookie
Defendant
Jason.
in the ongoing criminal case in Fulton.
All right, real quick. Sorry about that. I'm botched that up. Please forgive me. If Nathan, hear me, as I told y'all before, Team Wit loves cruises. Who is the weird bearded guy in the background? I don't know. It looks like one of the producers, because it's clearly that they're in like in a recording studio. It looks like one of the producers, because I hear people moving and such like that. Okay, Team Whitaker loves cruises, and I'll just tell you this right now: most of the time, you're not buying a cruise, right on the. I mean, you could, I guess, you could just swipe your card and pay for it, but a lot of time you're paying on it incrementally. So if you're going on a cruise for Christmas, you're making payments all the way up, because 90 days before the cruise, you have to have it paid in full. So you're not going to be paying on it, 2 and 3 days before, because they have to prepare. So there has to have been some kind of, how did he pay for it if it's not on his credit? I think this goes Bradley's credit card and pay Terrence Bradley back. This would probably go to support that argument that he used Terrence Bradley's card, swiped his card, paid for the whole trip, and then paid Terrence back in incremental cash or whatever of that nature. Who knows? But oh my goodness, man. All right, let's finish up.
She did not.
One of the
I don't know who that
things
man is.
that some folks have asked about, and I want to make sure you have a chance to elaborate on it however you choose. There's a timing question. So the subpoena to D.A. Willis to testify in the ongoing divorce case came on January 8th of this year. On the same day, a defendant in the ongoing criminal case in Fulton County filed a motion to disqualify D.A. Willis, also alleging that D.A. Willis was engaged in a romantic relationship with Nathan Wade. So on the same day, two separate allegations of the same romantic relationship. There are those who've wondered whether you coordinated efforts with anybody who's seeking to disqualify D.A. Willis from the criminal case in Fulton County. To those people, what would you say?
I would say absolutely not. We didn't know about a potential romantic relationship between Nathan Wade and Fani Willis until immediately before Christmas.
Okay, she said
When
that
we
already.
came back after the first of the year, we prepared and issued the subpoena. We were actually trying to serve her the week before, and we were not able to perfect service. We finally perfected service on the 8th, which I understand. I've learned since that, because this question has been asked of me, that apparently that was a deadline in the criminal case for filing motions. I had no idea about that. There certainly was no coordinated effort. What I can say is that adultery is not only a grounds for divorce in Georgia, but it's also a factor that the court considers in equitable division of property. So
Again, as a Christian, I'm glad she used the word adultery, which I thought was very interesting. You don't hear many people use the word adultery. They might say affair. They might say a lot of different nuanced terms that we've come up with to justify sinful behavior. But I thought that was interesting. And I'm wondering, see, again, I've heard that Joycelyn Wade had an extramarital affair, had adultery against Nathan back in 2015. Like, she stepped out and had an adulterous relationship back in 2015. I'm wondering if he had been able to go ahead and say, well, she had an affair. She committed adultery. I'm going to go ahead and end this marriage then, back in 2015, 2016. Would they still be having the equitable distribution of marital resources argument and discussion? I just don't know. Now, to me, I think what happened is Nathan just said, hey, you wilding out, you for the streets, I'm for the streets. We're not going to even mess with that. So with that being the case, I just think it's interesting that I know he's kicking himself. I know he's got to be kicking himself that why did I not take care of this back 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whenever, 4 years ago, for crying out loud. Anyway, but let us continue. Let's go.
as I received information indicating this potential relationship, I went after it. As for other people and the timing of when they did, what they were looking at, and where they got their information, I can't speak to that.
A total coincidence.
I don't generally believe in coincidences, but in this case, it literally happened on the same day.
How has this case...
I don't know. Now, maybe there's some legal wrangling in the background. I really don't care if they did work together. If Ashley picked up the phone and said, hey, do you know that Nathan is, having Fani calls? I don't really know if I care if she called that out. Now granted, maybe they don't want to show some kind of coordinated effort. Okay, fine. That's no argument, no issue with me. But I don't think that it's bad if they had, but that's just me.
Case impacted Joycelyn.
So Joycelyn She is an incredible woman. She's kind, she's sweet. She has some health issues.
Hold on. Y'all, hold on. Y'all, I apologize. Are you telling me, wait a minute, wait a whole minute, attacking this good Christian woman had a relationship with another good Christian man? If you could please show me book, chapter, verse in context that Fani Willis is a Christian, that Nathan Wade is a Christian, I'll go ahead and I'll do a whole rebuttal video. I'll rebut myself if you can show me. Until then, Too Funny, please be quiet. Please be quiet. Be quiet. But I do appreciate you. If you could, real quick, everybody hit the like button. Too Funny. Make sure you hit the like button 3 times. That'd be great. One for the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Thank you so much.
That have gone untreated because she has not had access to resources to take care of herself. And needless to say, in the last few weeks, as all of this has gone on, it's taken a definite toll on her. She's definitely struggling.
I know the terms of the consent order have not been made public. Is Joycelyn satisfied with the current outcome of the case? And that's a strange phrasing to say current outcome, but this is not a final disposition.
Correct.
Is she satisfied with where things stand now?
I think that I can, without revealing any confidences, say that yes, she's very pleased with where things stand at the moment.
Can you share anything about the terms of the current agreement?
Say no, you cannot.
Beyond the fact that we established temporary support and that Mr. Wade is paying attorney's fees and litigation expenses, I can't.
Do you have a sense of when a final disposition will be reached in this case? It's been a 2-year-long process now.
Nathan Wade has a list of documents that he has to get to us. And after we receive those documents, we are going to try to mediate the case within 45 days. And if we are not successful, then we will proceed to the next phase of litigation.
I want to circle back to kind of where we started.
Okay, so I think that's, and I feel bad for, again, I hate divorce. And I feel bad for Lady Wade. I hate it for Nathan. Because I mean, and most importantly, I hate it for their daughters. They have 2 girls, just like I have 2 girls. I believe Fani has 2 girls as well. And I hate that because these young ladies are going to be raised up in very weird family dynamics that, and now you're all, and not just weird family dynamics in the sense that all the cul-de-sac is going to know. The cul-de-sac is the entire world. Okay. You live on the entire planet and everybody knows that your mama was out there doing a fanny call at 53 years old with another married man, and the whole world knows it. That's can't be a good look for those young ladies. I mean, information about the young lady graduating from college has gotten out. I mean, it's very unfortunate. And sadly, as I said before, please be known, let it be known that your sins will entrap you. And that's Proverbs 5:22. And this entrap not only Nathan, not only Joycelyn, but their children, Fani, her children, and Bradley, and everybody else, man. Like the sin that you commit and you just think that you just running away with it and you just get away with it, it's going to entrap you. And we see this clearly outlined right here. What's going on, independent man? Good to see you, man. Grace and peace. Independent male, please forgive me. Grace and peace. Good to see you. Yeah, in the state of Georgia, that's where I live, the marriage is still valid. Thank you so much. The marriage is still valid until filing of divorce or at least a legal separation, which Wade never filed. Can we bold that? Never file. So he was still having an affair. He was still in adultery, yet still legally bonded to his wife. Say this again. Say it loud for the cheap seats in the back. Okay? You can't just say, oh, I've just decided that it would be akin to saying, oh, I've just decided that I'm a millionaire. Yeah, I'm a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. Oh, Nathan has a son? Okay, I apologize. I thought he had 2 girls. So I apologize. But that's even worse too. No matter what, like everybody knows about your dad. Everybody knows now. They're inextricably connected. Willis and Wade, that's it. I mean, when the movie comes out, there's gonna be somebody acting as your dad. That's crazy. Acting as your mom. That's crazy.
Here, as you jogged something in my mind there when you mentioned kind of the 45-day time frame.
Mm-hmm.
As of this point, DA Fani Willis has not given sworn testimony in the divorce case, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
The most current order on the matter is a stay from the judge in this case.
Yes.
Do you foresee a scenario in the future where you would renew your efforts to get the district attorney to testify?
I do foresee a scenario in which I would renew those efforts.
What would that look like? What would require you to get to that point?
So
Yikes.
the next step, the judge wants to hear testimony from Nathan Wade. The next step, if the efforts in the next 45 days or so are not successful, would be to depose Mr. Wade. And depending on the answers that I get in that deposition, I would then make a determination as to whether or not to proceed with revisiting the issue of the deposition of DA Willis.
All Nathan would have to do is just come in and just be honest. Yep, this is what I did. Yep, but also we talked about it from the lead attorney, and I'm going to bring that clip in. It's very possible Nathan Wade committed fraud in that the monies that he was receiving from Fulton County, he funneled it into what's called his IOLTA account for lawyers. It's the account where if independent male, I'm going to shout out to him because independent male lives in Atlanta as well. So he agrees with me that Atlanta must be stopped. If independent male secured me as his attorney against the gang of rabid chipmunks that attacked his dog, well, then he would give me $5,000. I can't put that $5,000 in my pocket until I've done $5,000 worth of work. So that money goes in what's called the IOLTA account, if I'm understanding it correctly. So that's like a fund until I've actually earned the money. So I file a deposition, I file a brief, I go get witnesses, I do all that kind of stuff, and I earn $2,000, and I bill him $2,000. Then I can take $2,000 out of that IOLTA account, but there's still $3,000 in there. So I can't just take that money and put it in my pocket and go buy me a new car or go on a cruise. I have to actually earn that money. But notice again, I said that money came from the independent male who is my client. It's a client funded account. You can't just put money in there. I believe it's kind of clear Nathan was putting his money from Fulton County. That's not his client. That's his employer. He was putting that money into his IOLTA account. That's no bueno. I think that's going to come out soon. And apparently, from what I understand, when you do that kind of stuff, you can get disbarred immediately. Like that's worse than lying on the stand. That's worse than breaking client and attorney privilege. If you break your IOLTA account and start getting funny with your IOLTA, that can get you put out of here. And I'm going to find that clip because it was really informative. Lead attorney and AV to the seventh power were talking about it last night. And they all said like, yo, yeah, here's a caustic chameleon. Says, you do not mess with your IOLTA. I'm pronouncing it correctly? Come on, man. Y'all know I'd be messing that up. IOLTA account. You can go to jail for that. And I really believe that's where Nathan was funneling his monies. And I think Scorpion Queen kind of alluded to that's why they didn't know about his monies, because they were like, oh, he doesn't have a lot of money, but he's spending all this. Where is it coming from? And she kind of alluded to it. I don't think she wants to use that term yet. However, and I think most people, independent male, just really realized that he had been violating his IOLTA account. Allegedly, I think I just heard about it yesterday. Was my first time. I was just thinking his money was going to his bank account, right? No, apparently he was taking his paycheck, his large, absorbent paychecks, and putting it in his IOLTA account so nobody would know about it because it would look like it was client funds. So yeah, this could be really like Nathan might not have it. If what lead attorney and AV to the seventh power and other legal people have said, this could be really bad. And again, all Nathan had to do was just tell the truth. All he has to do is just be honest. But I don't know about the IOLTA. I don't think you can even, once you violate that, I've heard it's game over. So that's kind of crazy. But let's finish this up. Let's finish this up. Let's finish this up.
You say depending on the answers you would get in that potential deposition. Because again, if the 45-day mediation works out, there will be no need for that, correct?
Correct.
Just come in and be honest, man.
If you do get to a point where you pursue testimony from Mr. Wade, what information from his deposition would lead you to then seek more testimony from the district attorney?
Oh, I have a lot of questions for Mr. Wade about his relationship with DA Willis, and more specifically, how he has dissipated assets as a result of that relationship. That's very relevant to what we need to deal with in the divorce case. There's a reason that I subpoenaed DA Willis before taking or trying to take Nathan Wade's deposition. And the reason that I did it in the first place is the reason that I think I'll need to, ultimately.
And what is that reason?
Nathan Wade has not been forthcoming in this case.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there because I see Independent Mail said something. I saw that clip as well. Okay, that was the shared work account, if I'm understanding it correctly. And again, my name is Jason. I am not a legal expert. I got my tax stuff on my table in there. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'm praying. Okay. If I'm understanding it correctly, the contracts that Nathan and the other business partner, Terrence Bradley, all had, they put all of that money into a shared work account and everybody had access to a third of it. If that's what I'm understanding correctly. But that was contracts that they all shared. The special prosecutor money, that was not, that he didn't share that with, I think the other guy's name was Wilson and Bradley. I don't think he shared those with them because that was his money. And that's the money I'm talking about that went into his IOLTA account. The shared company bank account is pretty common from my understanding when you have partnerships and such of that nature. But again, I don't, again, I'm not pretending to be some kind of forensic, anything of that nature. Everything I'm saying here is speculation and my understanding. So I could allege it, I could be wrong, anything of that nature. I'm just saying we will see. But I'm pretty comfortable that he was putting his Fulton County special prosecutor monies in his IOLTA. And therein is the problem. Okay. And Independent Mail, hit me up, email me so we can get together. You got to come to the studio so we can shoot this out. Let's go.
And we have jumped through hoops of fire to obtain the most basic information from him. Sometimes he has been, in my view, outright deceptive.
Use the word. He was lying, Scorpion Queen. Scorpion Queen, just say it. He was lying. She said they had to jump through hoops of fire. I kind of like her. I don't like her as much as I like Ashley. And definitely not as much as I like Boots and Grandpa. But I like her, man. I like the way she does it. I have no idea what that scorpion thing is over there, though. I need some information about that right there. Bottom line, let's see what Queen Fab gets shout out because her name is Queen Fab. Bottom line, naughty Nate. I love that. Well played, well played. Deliberately filed for divorce the day after taking the special prosecutor's position to deliberately prevent the wife from getting spousal support on that salary. I mean, that's exactly what it looks like. I don't know any other way to look at that. I'm right there with you. Oh no, not another ethic. Wait, the ethics meeting starts here. Are you for real? Oh my gosh, I got work to do. Oh my gosh, don't do this to me. Are you for real? Okay, I will not. We are not going to watch this together. I am not going to watch this with 202 of my closest friends this morning. I'm not going to do it like we did yesterday. I don't think.
He's just playing games with information, and I wanted to go to a source that I had a more reasonable belief might possibly tell the truth.
I want to end with two final questions for you. And I guess let's start with this one. Why this is your first sit-down interview on this matter? I know you've spoken on the courthouse steps. I saw that interview, but this is the first time you're sitting down and having an extended conversation about this case. Why talk about it now?
I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding out there on many levels with regards to this case, what's gone on, what's going on now, what can be expected in the near future, even so far as there's a misunderstanding as to what the agreement yesterday was. And so it's important to me that the facts are clear and that the record is clear, not to talk in legalese.
And speaking of legalese, I want to circle back to sort of the core component here one more time, just so it's crystal clear where your perspective is, because it has been a complex case. It's a long case. It's a big docket. Even for folks who are in the profession, I think they would say that this is a complex matter with a lot to track. The biggest question that's surrounded all of this has been proof, has been how do you prove these allegations? And these are serious allegations, that there is a romantic relationship between an elected official and somebody involved in both a long-term divorce case and a very high-profile prosecution. So I just want to put it to you one more time as clearly as possible. What proof do you have to support the allegation that DA Fani Willis and Nathan Wade had a romantic relationship?
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Cliffhanger. Let's get a couple quick comments in here. Please make sure you like the video if you don't mind. It really does help out a lot. Helps with the algorithm. All right, let's go. Dear woke Christian, I think it's going to happen today. Another YouTuber, Good Logic, is streaming it today. Oh my gosh, I got work to do. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I will. Maybe we'll come back tonight and watch it again. Independent Mail said it too. Georgia ethics, I missed it right there. Georgia ethics meetings are on the way. Yeah, I mean, you can't, if they're going to have an ethics meeting about you, it's fair to say that you did something that was unethical. Now, I'm sure that you can argue it, but it's fair to say you've messed up. You've stepped too far across a line, or you got too close to the line and stepped over it, whatever like that. I mean, man, it's crazy. All right, let's finish this up. Let's go.
I'm not trying to be slick.
Come on, Scorpion Queen.
I have documentary evidence that suggests to me that they absolutely are engaging in a romantic relationship. And I wouldn't be pursuing this line of question, this avenue of investigation, if I wasn't reasonably certain of that fact.
I noticed the tense you use there is are engaged. In your view, this is an ongoing, current relationship.
Yes.
Wow. Now remember, this is like January 15th, January 18th. So it's not long ago. I forgot exactly what date it was. I think it's on the video, down in the link down in the description. It's only January 18th, so it's not super long ago. So they just now broke up. Like she just gave him back his Letterman jacket or something. You know what I'm saying?
I always say last question, but then something comes up. So I just want to.
We do it in court too.
I know. Well, you want to make sure. And it's important to us that you have every opportunity to respond to anything and everything. Right. It comes down to a fairness issue. And so you mentioned you wouldn't be pursuing this line of questioning if you weren't reasonably certain of this. There are those who have said that, why does this matter? It's tawdry, it's salacious. Why does this matter? Why does a potential relationship between these two matter to your case? To people who ask that question, what would you say?
Okay, that's a great question. I don't think this interviewer is phenomenal, but he's definitely, he's pretty good. So why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why does it matter that Nathan Wade was bumping uglies with Fani Willis, even though Nathan was still married to Joycelyn? Why does that matter? Why does it matter? It matters because he's married, period. All the other stuff is really, in my opinion, just window dressing. The issue is that he is married. Now, we can add to the complexity that he's bumping uglies with his boss. He's having booty calls with a woman that's paying him almost $500,000. They're going traveling near and far on, and he's funneling that money to her. We can get into all of those sordid details, but at the end of the day, the man is married to another woman. Period. That's it. All the other stuff is just extra. It's just more. It's the, again, if you boil down the soap opera issue, a lot of the times it's somebody just doing one thing that blows up into something massive. And that's it. Like the one thing is this man is in sin. And so is Fani. So is Joycelyn. So is Scorpion Queen and the interviewer. So am I. So are you. So we are sinners. And we do that. We do that pretty well, man. That's why we're sinners. Because we're pretty good at it. That's why we need Christ. So we're going to finish this up. I just want to, again, I don't know what she's about to say because I haven't gotten as far in the video. So let's find out together.
I would say what we just discussed a moment ago, that adultery is not only a grounds for divorce in Georgia, it's also a factor for the judge to consider, or the court to consider, in equitably dividing assets. The fact that it's become salacious, it's always tawdry. In every case.
Facts.
The fact that it's salacious, I think, is because of the specific people involved in this case, which obviously we have no control over. But we need to figure out what's going on, and really, probably even more importantly, figure out what portion of this estate has been lost as a result of this relationship. And that's where it really becomes relevant.
So it's about the money.
Well, at the end of the day, the judge said it. It's a math problem. And so ultimately, we are going to have to bring it down to numbers. But there are, there are factual issues to discuss. A 26-year marriage, a stay-at-home woman. She worked while he went through law school. The fact that he's having an affair and doing some of the things that he's done before and during this case is highly relevant. And we have to go into that.
You mentioned at times you felt that Nathan Wade was being deceptive, outright deceptive, I think was the language that you used in.
Here, I'm going to stop real quick because he's getting into a point that this comment right here, Black Cappuccino, shout out to Black Cappuccino. This is a great point. And you guys, I don't know if you guys are reading the notes or whatever, but he says, no wonder Wade testified that he pays for everything on his company credit card. His paycheck was going there to hide the money from the county and Fani from his wife. That's probably why. That's probably why. Even if he wasn't married, Queen Fab says, it's still a conflict of interest for the DA to hire her boyfriend as a special prosecutor without notifying the court, the bar, or the ethics board to cover themselves. I mean, all she had to do is just say, we are dating, and justify her position on why, even though I'm dating him, he's still a great, as she said, a fabulous, a rock star attorney. That's all she had to have done, but she didn't do that. And you got to wonder why. All right, let's finish this up. Great interview, man.
Efforts to obtain information from him. It seems particularly about financial information. Describe those deceptions. What are the concerns? What are what are you looking for, and what are you worried is being hidden?
So I'll give a couple of examples. It's all a matter of record. We issued a notice of deposition, request for documents to his firm, Wade Bradley Campbell.
Oh, Campbell.
And we received no response. Nathan Wade was the registered agent for Wade Bradley Campbell.
Okay.
No response. Wade Bradley Campbell was representing Nathan Wade in the beginning of this case. And they were the ones that were putting out these discovery responses that were completely barren of facts and information, basic information. The fact that we had to find out by watching the news, no offense, that what his current job was, it's ridiculous. And we learned it 2 years almost after this case had been going on because he wouldn't disclose it. He knew the information. He has a duty to seasonably supplement his discovery, and he just wouldn't do it. He kept producing the same handful of documents that he knew didn't tell us what we needed to know. And as far as questions, he's answered questions in a way that I do not believe are truthful.
Mr. Wade's been paid, according to public record, hundreds of thousands of dollars for his role as a special prosecutor in the ongoing criminal case against former President Trump and other co-defendants related to allegations of 2020 election interference. Mm-hmm. Are those payments at the core of what information you're seeking? Now, and forgive me to be repetitive on this, but I want to make sure we drill down as much as possible into the core details here. And I don't want to put words in your mouth either, so I want to frame this carefully. But are those payments, are those payment records what you're seeking most of all?
That's a piece of it that we've been seeking. Payment records, tracking the money. You know, they say always follow the money.
Follow the bread, follow the bread.
Follow where it's been going and what accounts it's been going into and where it's ended up. And that has taken a fairly Herculean effort because there's a lot of inconsistency with what's happened with the money.
You feel that there's been an effort to hide how much he's been paid?
In this day and age, it's very difficult for people to hide money, given the...
No, ask Fani. Fani hides money all over the place. She got, it's not hard to hide. I mean, she got, bread in her pocket. She got $20K, 6 months living expenses in her crib. It's so silly. Let's go.
Technology that we have, but I do know that he has been putting money in places that it would seem to me that he is trying to shield it from discussion in our divorce.
That's the IOLTA comment.
Is there anything I missed that you think is important for people to understand about this case and about your role in it?
Honestly, I know that there are all these questions about coordinating and that sort of thing. I'm here to do a job for Joyce and to protect her. If there's anybody that deserves it, it's her. And we're not connected with the other case. We are seeking similar information about the same people, but for different purposes. And it's important to me that people understand that. I think that Joyce has gotten a lot of criticism for this belief that she's working with others involved in that prosecution, or that we are, and that's just not what's happening.
All right. Great interview. So yeah, that's 11 Alive News. I'll make sure the link is in the description of this video. It should be in there, but I'll make sure it's there. I just thought that was really informative. I don't know what that scorpion brooch was about, but I think she has a nice heart, if you will, toward Joycelyn, and she wanted the best for. I pronounce it Joycelyn. I don't know why they call her Joycelyn, but anyway, I think she has a good desire to see Joycelyn taken care of toward the end of this. But yeah, I appreciate you all coming through to add your 2 cents. Keisha Bunny says, under the pillow, in the bread box, in the air vent, lots of ways to hide money. There should be 170 likes. Help a brother out. Come on. Thank you so much, Independent Mail. Did you email me yet? Make sure you email me. Wait, you don't know my email? dearwokec@gmail.com. Thanks for asking, man. Hit me that email, man. We got to talk. She letting you know that she comes with sting. Is that what she's saying? Is that what she's doing with the, is that what the scorpion brooch is about? That thing was weird, but hey, you know what? I got love for her. I think she sounded like she wanted the best for her. So I like that about it. No, great conversations, y'all. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. This has been, like I said in the beginning, this story has taken on a whole new life. I don't even care what it was that they were actually in court for. What Fani Willis was attempting to do. I almost don't care. This story has become its own sideshow, its own carnival, all by itself. Maybe one day they'll get to this Trump case. Maybe they won't. I don't care. This story right here has just become so enthralling. I have to admit, like, it's just so interesting because every day it's new drama, and it really centers around the fact that these people won't tell the truth. Just tell the truth. If you just told the truth and just let the chips fall where they may, it would be over with. I mean, all of this, I don't want to say all of that. That's not true. A lot of this is centered around the fact that Nathan and crew were not being honest. And sure, there's other people too. Now, don't get it twisted. There's a whole lot of lying going on. Okay. There's some lying in the streets. However, in this case specifically, from this man trying to hide his money, and the attorney, you hear her saying, like, she basically said he was hiding that money in that IOLTA account. She just didn't want to say it out loud. But I mean, that's crazy. So he's putting all of this at jeopardy. All of this is at risk now for a Fani call. Let's just tell the truth. Like, all of this is at risk. His however long he's been an attorney, however long, I mean, future monies it sounds like what he's actually already earned is going to be at jeopardy. Why? Because he's out here in these streets, wilding out. That's crazy, man. That is crazy to think about, that he's putting all of that at jeopardy over a Fani call. I just don't know what to say, don't know what to do about it. But I appreciate you all. Let me know what you think about it. Give me your 2 cents. Give me your 2 cents. Let me know what it is that you think about this down in the comments below. Please make sure you like the video on your way out the door. Let me know what you think. And if something else comes up, do not hesitate to email me at dearwokec@gmail.com. If you run across another article, run across another video that might be informative, let me know. Let me know. I will gladly consider it. And if possible, we can make it work. I'll gladly do it. Because like I said, this story has been so interesting. And hearing your thoughts, what you all are thinking, what you all are hearing, and so on and so forth, is amazing. So if that be the case, if we can do it again, then we will. Consider being a member if you would like to. Down in the description is how to become a member of the YouTube channel, as well as buy me a coffee. And of course, you'll be getting premium access to new information and new videos that I'm doing, all that kind of stuff like that, as well as my Discord. So it gives you a good chance for us to kind of hang out and connect. I appreciate y'all so much. This has been so much fun. So let's do it again real soon. I'm not planning on doing another video today, but like I said, if something pops up, maybe we'll do another one. It might be fun. So Fab Queen has found her sister, the Scorpion Queen. Absolutely. Queen Fab, I'm sorry, has found her sister, the Scorpion Queen. I love it. I love it. It is entertaining in a very macabre type of way. It is, but like, yo, all you got to do is just repent. If you just repent, Nate, if you just turn away from this and stop keeping this lie going, you would be actually I don't think you would be out of trouble, but it would be much better for him. That's my little 2 cents. Everybody, thank you so much. I'm going to go do some editing over at the studio. So until next time, everybody, grace and peace.